all of my favourite music on all of my favourite recorders. My name is Jeffery, I'm a recorder player, and I'm also one of the 50 musicians here at Splendor, so I'll be sure to tell you all about this wonderful concert hall later as well. I'm speaking in English, even though I know all of you in this esteemed audience before me will be understanding Dutch, but if we look at these cameras over here, this concert is also being live streamed. So hello there, if you are watching online right now or at a later date, thank you for being here too. Maar natuurlijk spreek ik ook Nederlands, dus mocht u nog vragen willen hebben na dit concert, kom gezellig in de bar hierna, gaan we samen een glasje wijn drinken en gaan nog een keer vertellen over deze blokfluiten. Yeah. In this concert, before the interval, we're going to be looking at the recorder in the past. After the interval, we are going to be looking to the future. But of course, we're going to see that these things are more or less intertwined. All of the music I've chosen today has been from, actually the starting point has been the instrument. So I brought a portion of my instrumentarium with me today, and we're going to experience together how the recorder itself, the blockfluit itself, shapes the music. So you sitting here in the hall today, I'm also going to need your help. You're going to be helping me with some decisions. Is that okay? You all look very scared. Don't worry, you don't have to play anything. But we're going to find out together how the choice of recorder shapes the music. I started off with one of my lifetime favourite pieces, the English Nightingale, the Engels Nachtegaaltje. This is an English tune set to variations by a Dutch composer, Jacob van Eyck from Utrecht. And this, I'm hoping that this combination of English and Dutch is a little bit more successful than the football was on Wednesday. Luckily, I'm more into music than I am into football. So, we're going to move on from, I have to say, this is in my top 3 all-time recorders. My Ganassi soprano, made by a German maker, Stefan Bletzinger. We'll be hearing more of him in the future. Let's continue. The next piece, I honestly could not decide which recorder to play it on, so you're going to help me. I have here 2 instruments. This we're going to start off with is made by a Dutch maker, Peter van de Boel van Bunnik. And it's what's known as a consort recorder. Before I start, is there anyone here who's slightly familiar with recorders, with blockfluiten? I can see a few familiar faces, yes. You'll notice that the end, the bore, the hole in the middle is very wide. This gives a different sound. It gives a different range. Sometimes it gives different fingerings. This is what it sounds like. Remember that last bit? That's the piece I'll be playing. So you're going to help me decide, am I playing it on this or a Ganassi recorder made by Tom de Vries. Would Tom de Vries please like to raise his hand? We have the amazing privilege of having the maker here in the hall with us today. So can we just have a look? That is one of the very special things about being a recorder player. Yes, on one hand, our shopping list of instruments never ends. On the other hand, we get to meet and work with the people who create our instruments, and that is something that's so special. So this is what this one sounds like. quite different. If I was to really characterize it in 2 seconds, I would say this one is a little bit sweeter, smoother, designed to blend into an ensemble. This one has more solo personality. Let's see, should we have a vote? Who would like to hear my next piece on the consort instrument by Peter from the Pool? Feel free to raise your hand. Oh, see, we have some enthusiastic takers over there. Fantastic. Who would like to hear it on my Ganassi? For the people watching online who can't see the audience, we have voted overwhelmingly for our Ganassi instrument by Tom Matthusen. This is the Bergamasca on the letter B by Giovanni Battista Vitali. Maybe you're thinking, oh no, I made the wrong decision. Nothing personal, Tom. I'm just using this as a way to go into my next piece, where you will in fact get to hear all of the alto recorders I own. If we look over here, I have created a timeline for you of alto recorders from the 16th century up to today, and I'm going to meld them all together. Let me introduce them to you. We have our consort recorder. Continuing with our Ganassi instrument. I like a recorder with a big sound. Going into the 17th century with a transitional instrument. This does what it says on the tin. We're transitioning from the Renaissance to the Baroque. This is also by Stefan Bletzinger. Into the 18th century, our Baroque Tenor recorder. This one is by Joachim Roma. And you'll notice that a lot of them are in different pitches. Modern pitch at 440, Baroque pitch at 415. Some of them are in F, some of them are in G. I'm afraid I've just mixed them all up today. Then we have some modern developments. This is a modern recorder developed by Mollenhauer. You'll see that it has some extra keys, it has a different shape. my eagle recorder, which is a very special instrument I'll tell you more about later. It's focusing on the task ahead of me. I'm going to take you through some La Folia, a ground bass where we have variations upon a continuing theme. This one is by a very well-known prolific composer, anonymous. It's from 1731. And seeing as I am jumping up and down in terms of pitches, I'll try and acclimatise you in between, if that's okay. Okay. My next piece is for the team recorder fans amongst you, or rather I should direct this at the camera, the team recorder fans amongst you. For those who don't know, I've spent the past 8 years posting weekly videos all about the recorder on my YouTube channel, Team Recorder. In the meantime, it's something like 400 videos. I just can't stop talking about the recorder. And when I accidentally became a social media influencer, I thought that being an influencer would mean that I would get sent like free clothes and free makeup and get invited to glamorous places. But it's not been that. I'm actually in a much more lovely corner of the internet. And I've accidentally become an influencer for the Dutch composer Jacob van Eyck. I didn't expect it. I've done lots of videos where I test different recorders, and it's become a running joke that in every video I play one of my favourite melodies. It's called Daphne. If you're cheering at home on your computer, then yes. Daphne, it's one of the classic Renaissance tunes that we all know and love, and I usually play the first couple of lines when I'm demonstrating instruments in a video, but now I'm going to treat you to a bit more than a couple of lines. Something I find so special about Van Eyck's music is that it's really for the recorder. It's, I want to say the exact number, but I cannot remember it, something around 100 and very, very many pieces, especially for our instrument. But what if we want to play music that doesn't originally belong to the recorder? What questions do we then face as a musician? These were things I was thinking about when I was tackling the next piece. It's one of Telemann's Fantasias. This is well-trodden, well-loved ground for recorder players. But I've chosen one of his Fantasias for the bass de viol. Slightly different. So when I'm looking at a piece of music, we have the artistic side, the technical side. From an artistic point of view, does it have the pitch that I want? Are we looking low? Are we looking high? Does it have the sound I want to give for the atmosphere? Then on the technical level, am I in the correct key? For example, as we know on our beloved recorders, we take one scale. It sounds very clear and open. We go half step up. And it's a different story. So these are two things that I have to weigh up. And then at the end of the day, there is always the element of risk. Are we going to go with the correct answer? Are we going to take an artistic risk? So these are some things that I'm going to ask you to do with me later in the program. To start off, I'm going to give you 3 choices for the ending of our piece. Let me take the correct recorder. When we get to the end of our piece, it's going to sound something like this. Okay. We have 3 choices. This is number 1. Number 2. And number 3. Okay, I'm going to come out of it so I can see you. If you would like option number 1, please raise your hand. Okay. Option number 2. Oh, okay, more. Option number 3. Okay, so we're going with number 2. Okay, I'll do my best to remember. Okay, this is Telemann's Fantasia number 1 for the bass de viol. exciting having you choose these things for me, because as musicians, we practice these things in our practice room, and if we're having to, on the spot, make these new decisions, it's very exciting. Speaking of sitting in a practice room, the next piece that I put on the programme is really personal to me, and the good news is it's probably personal to a lot of you as well, because it's one of the most well-known pieces. This is Bach's first cello suite. A few years ago, like all of us, we were in lockdown, and I downloaded this piece of music, and it became like a kind of lifeline. I think I played this piece every single day. It's so special, it's never ending, and it became this source of peace and comfort and solace, and that is something that I think is so special about music, whether you can play one note or whether it's your job, that it can bring you that special comfort. I'm sure that we all feel like that with certain pieces of music. So I wanted to put some of these pieces on the programme. I'm going to play a couple of the movements, and we're starting with my favourite, the minuets. I thought I would play it on my voice flute. A voice flute is a recorder in D, so called because it was meant to match the range and the feeling of the human voice. Later on, again, you're going to help me with some choices, but we'll get to that soon. So this is Bach's minuets, and the ornaments are written by the recorder great Michaela Petri. last movement of this suite, the Gigue, I'd like you to help me decide. I enjoy playing it on the soprano. This is a beautiful baroque 415 soprano, also made by Tom de Vries. However, I have played Bach movements before on YouTube where there has been pushback against the use of small instruments for a cello suite, which I understand. Remember what we were talking about? When we're adapting, we have to think of all these different considerations. So, would you rather hear the Gigue on the bass or on the soprano? There's no right answer. Let's see some hands. Bass. Yeah, okay. Soprano? It's kind of around the same. What now? Okay. I'm going to do an experiment. Are we ready? Thank you. And in case you wanted to hear a little bit more of this beautiful instrument, to finish our first half, we've already had a journey through the alto recorders. We're going to have a journey through the small recorders. Okay, give me a second to move these around. We began this concert with the English Nightingale, a piece about birds, and there have been hundreds of pieces written throughout the centuries about birds for the recorder, for obvious reasons. We sound like a bird. So I'm finishing off this half with a little bird suite. We have some movements from the Bird Fancier's Delight by John Walsh, English, and Couperin's Le Rossignol en Amour. And we're going to travel, I'm not going to play them for you, you're going to hear them as we go, through the garklein, the smallest member of the real recorder family. I have seen smaller recorders, but they are fridge magnets. Then we go to the sopranino. My Ganassi, you have met this before. The most normal recorder we have here, this is a soprano, much like the one I started with a number of years ago. A soprano, a half step lower at 415, and ending with a very, very special instrument. This is a fourth flute. Fourth flute, huh? It's in B flat, in Bess, and it's known as a fourth flute because it's 4 degrees up. F, G, A, B flat, B flat. In 415, so our lowest note is a concert A. So we're going to travel down the small recorders into our bird suite, and then we'll have a short interval. recorder, future. feature the second half of our concert. That was a short piece composed by myself. It was called After Me Comes the Flood, written for Ganassi recorder. The recorder is such a special instrument. We have centuries and centuries of history, all of these amazing instrument developments that you've heard tonight. And the wonderful thing is, performers, composers, teachers, makers are all still working together and creating new developments. This is something I love to be involved with. We're going to go on a journey now with this curious instrument that's been sitting over here in the corner. This is a Paetzold recorder, named from the family, the company that developed it. The Paetzold is in fact a family of instruments. This is the contra-bass, but we have 3 sizes smaller and 3, 4 sizes bigger. They're getting bigger all the time. The largest one currently in development is 4.8 meters long in total. Unfortunately, I don't have one of those to show you right now, but this is the one I'll play for you. I'm going to play 2 short pieces, new pieces by composers that I've been lucky enough to get into contact with over social media. We have Alice Jones, who is a composer based in the States, and then the second is by Ed Driver, a composer based in London. We have Apricity and Escape Velocity. What I love about contemporary music, it's so much fun. Of course, if you're here in the hall, you have questions about this wonderful instrument, please come and talk to me afterwards. I'm going to catapult us a casual 700 years into the past. We've come to the part of the evening where we take a journey into the tenor recorder. We've had the alto, the soprano, and the tenor. I have a selection of tenors with me. One of them, the more normal tenor, you will hear later. But now you're going to hear what is called a Raffi tenor. It's not a walking stick. We call it a Raffi tenor because it's designed after the builder Raffi, who would have made these hundreds of years ago. And it is actually just a regular recorder. You blow in the top. The difference is that it's not been carved out to have the look that we know today. I'm going to play for you a piece called O Virgo Splendance from the Livre Vermeil de Montserrat. And I've arranged this piece for one player with the recorder and voice. This is one of my favourite techniques to use with the recorder because we are blessed with having no reed, no embouchure, usually no keys, nothing in the way. We are completely flexible to do what we want with this instrument. And that flexibility, that vulnerability, that danger is what attracts me to the recorder. So singing into the recorder player, into the recorder, it's as easy as that. This is O Virgo Splendance. I will confess something. This is not my favourite tenor recorder in my collection. It has been usurped. I have a new favourite. And this is a recorder I never thought I needed until I met it. And then that became a very expensive trip to the recorder festival. This is a tenor fourth flute at 415. Pop that there. So a fourth flute, remembering our lowest note is a B flat, but this is then a low baroque pitch. So the lowest note of this recorder is concert A. And that places it exactly halfway between our regular bass recorder in F and our regular tenor recorder in C. We now have a step in the middle in A. In the first half, I said that when we look to the past and we look to the future, we will see that they are irrevocably intertwined with one another. And I love seeing these parallels. Our instrument has developed so much, but yet we have these kind of red threads running through. And sometimes that leads me to make interesting choices in the music. I've mixed together two composers, Auteuil from France, the 18th century, and from 2023, Japanese composer Fumiharu Yoshimine. What attracts me to their music is their beautiful use of graces. We have this melody and then dancing lightly on top of the melody, and these graces, that small ornaments per note. And I love to experience how, across the centuries, composers keep coming back to this. So here we will hear a selection of preludes by Auteuil mixed with today's composition by Yoshimine, Lullaby. did promise that we would meet this instrument again. This recorder is called the Eagle, and it was developed over many years by a very special member of our recorder community, Adriana Broking. Adriana actually sadly passed away way before her time, a year or two ago, and her loss is very much felt in the recorder community. This instrument, it was really born from the recesses of her imagination, and there's lots of very special things about it. I mean, we can see it looks very different to the recorders we're used to. Her vision was to create a modern instrument that can blend with modern instruments. If we look at the end of this Eagle recorder, it's very, very wide. That gives a loud sound. The physical sound waves that come from this instrument blend very well with our modern grand piano, modern louder instruments. We have extra keys to provide a wider range. And this metal part here, the metal labium, this was an experiment into creating more dynamics on the recorder. So that's the special things about this instrument, but what has really stayed with me is the way, when I worked with Adriana, she personalizes every recorder for the player. So I went to visit her in her workshop 2 or 3 years ago. You can watch it on YouTube if you like. And when I arrived, she had prepared an eagle for me. But she had watched videos of how I played, looked at how I was breathing, at how I was standing, at how I was putting my fingers. She had even researched my birthday to see what kind of lunar and solar energy I had. That's a whole story to go into a different time. But the long story short, she had not made an eagle, but she had made a Sarah Jeffery eagle. And this was very, very special. So I'm going to play a couple of pieces for you on this. We're starting off with a piece from my past. Some controversial information here. You might not know this, but before I saw the light and became a recorder player, I was actually a flute player throughout my teens. I was having flute lessons and playing the recorder in secret when I thought that no one was listening. But this piece that I'm about to play for you was one of the pieces I really enjoyed playing on my flute, Syrinx by Debussy. And I'm going to play this for you today on the Eagle because it's really enjoyable to get into the dynamics, the sound, and I've also played it in a way that I'm going to utilize my low E key. 2021, no one was more surprised than me to see sea shanties go viral on social media. Zeemansliederen, who would have thought it? Suddenly, all over TikTok, people were singing a certain sea shanty, the Wellerman. I like to jump on social media trends, so I took this popular tune and, well, it was lockdown, we had a lot of time, didn't we? I wrote variations on this in the style of Jacob van Eyck. Why not? And this is what I'd like to play for you now, the Wellerman variations. In the meantime, this has also kind of taken on a life of its own in our wonderful early music corner of social media. So here we have a kind of modern day reimagining of what Van Eyck and these Renaissance composers would have done. And at the end, I couldn't resist throwing in a sprinkle of Vivaldi. The final piece in the programme, and before I introduce that, I want to say a huge thank you to Splendor for hosting this evening, for hosting the live stream as well. I'll do my quick praatje. I'm sure a lot of you in the audience already know this, but Splendor is an absolutely wonderful hub, creative place, concert hall, artists, workplace that makes everything possible here in the centre of Amsterdam. And the very special thing is we are completely supported by our members. So actually, if you are one of our Splendor leden here in the audience, can you please give yourselves a round of applause? It's really you that keep all of this going, and in today's classical music climate, that is the most special thing, this connection with the audience, and that we get to be here doing this. Maybe you're watching on the stream, maybe you're sitting here in the audience thinking, but I'm not a Splendor member. What is that? To be a member of Splendor, you pay 120 euros per year. The quick-witted amongst you will realise that this is 10 euros a month. What do you get for that? 50 free concerts. 50 free concerts. So if you live nearby in the area, you like popping along to see what's going on that evening, I think there's actually nothing better, right? And if you're watching on the stream and you're actually a billionaire, then maybe you could just become a Splendor member anyway. Let's see. Hopefully they're all doing it. I can't see it, but okay, give me a second. I'm going to finish with one of my favourite pieces. This is Vermont Counterpoint by Steve Reich. It was originally for flute, but I wanted to set myself the challenge of arranging this for recorder. It is a piece for one solo performer and a tape. And on the tape you hear 11 layers of minimal music cells repeating and repeating, and I play the culmination of all these melodies together. Recording this tape, we quickly realised there are 11 layers of music, there are 143 separate samples, and we quickly realised that our first plan of just copy-pasting, for example playing and then doing copy-paste 143 times, it didn't sound very good. So we had no choice but to sit and record each of the 11 layers in one go. Oh, it was, it's a wonderful exercise in just surrendering yourself to this sound world. So that's what I'm going to do as I play. And for you, I invite you to do the same. Close your eyes and surrender yourself to these next wonderful minutes of minimal music. Check I've got all my recorders in the right place. Yeah, I'm going to stand here. Good. I'll take this out.